Mic check, mic check. Whoa. I feel like I've got some mad echo. How are we doing? New graphics on the ting. What do we think? We're starting. Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is Friday Practice 1 ahead of the 2022 Italian Grand Prix. If you are new to the channel, if you are a Formula 1 fan, then please do consider subscribing because I'm live for every single quali and every single Grand Prix from the Formula 1 World Championship. And yeah, we've got some new graphics, new intro and that. But welcome to the stream, guys. Obviously a bit of a sad weekend. But the Formula 1 is continuing on. I've just seen a text that all the footballs cancelled. So, yeah, there might be, you know, Formula 1 might be one of the only things going ahead this weekend. But yeah, the show continues for the Italian Grand Prix. But yeah, this is my the schedule. Let me turn this down. I feel like I've got a big echo. If I've got a massive echo on the mic, do let me know. I think it's probably because I've got the volume turned up on that. Yeah, no, we're cool. But yeah, this is my schedule for the weekend. So obviously we're on now for a little bit of a preview. Do a 20-minute preview ahead of FP1 that starts at 1 o'clock. So in about 25 minutes time, FP1 starts. So run through some of the teams for 20 minutes. Run down from the back of the grid to the front of the grid, see what everyone's results are coming into this event. And then I'll be live again for practice 2, 10 to 4. That starts at 4 o'clock. Also doing FP3 this weekend, do all the sessions from now to the end of the season, you know, see how we go. So yeah, might as well do FP3, even though it's a bit of a dead session, but we'll do it, the quali. And then, obviously, the race, I'll be on at 1:30 on Sunday afternoon for the race starting at 2 p.m. But yeah, just going to do Yes Aways. Welcome in Tax. Welcome everyone to the stream. Ernesto's in as well. Chris Poundcoin. Welcome in. Right, so let me turn that music off. We don't need that music anymore. But yeah, you've seen the flashy intro. In fact, is the thing, I feel like the thing's lagging. Dropped frames detected. Ooh, that ain't good. We'll survive. Right, so first thing is, before FP1 gets underway, we'll just go through the teams. These are the results then from start at Williams, who are 10th in Constructors Championship, go all the way to the leaders in Constructors at the moment, which is Red Bull. So we start at Williams, just having a look at the results, what's going on, where are they in the championship, etc. Looking at the form book, basically. Having a bit of a rundown for a few minutes. So yeah, Nicholas Latifi, man, he's not having the best of times, is he? I mean, I always look at sort of the last 5 results, and yeah, looking at the last 5 results from Nicholas Latifi, he doesn't make good reading, does it? 2 DNFs and 3 18th position finishes. Is this the end of Nicholas Latifi's Formula 1 career? I'd say there's a good chance of that. I'd say that you're looking at, this could be Nicholas Latifi's last 7 races now in Formula 1. who Williams replacing with, I do not know. We're in the middle of a bit of musical chairs at the moment in Formula One. You know, in the past few days, I've gone from hoping that Mick Schumacher's going to get an Alpine drive to now thinking he might not even be in Formula One next year. I do not know what's happening. It's musical chairs. Alpine are trying to get Gasly, but AlphaTauri don't want to let Gasly go because they're struggling to get this Colton Herta over from IndyCar. It's a whole mess. Who knows who's going to be driving where ahead for 2023? We do know that Piastri's confirmed at McLaren, but I think there's about three or four seats to be decided, and yeah, the jury's still out on it all. I don't know how it's going to end up, but there's rumours this morning Nico Hulkenberg going to Haas. You know, you've got Antonio Giovinazzi doing practice sessions now. Sometimes silly seasons easy to predict. Like, oh, he's going to move there, and everyone else going to stay where they are, and that's it. But this year's mad. This year's you could have like where it's in the region of like 7 drivers have changed teams by the end of it. You know, with Vettel retiring and Alonso moving, and then it's just set off this whole chain reaction, and you could end up where 6 or 7 drivers move round by the time we get to Christmas. So yeah, it's hard to call, but Nicholas Latifi, probably his last 7 races in Formula 1. He's not doing very well. Alexander Albon, on the other hand, he's had a great season. He's had a great season with the machinery. He's had, a point in Belgium. Even P12 in Netherlands as well. Like, if he doesn't get a point, Alex Albon always seems to be more or less in contention for maybe getting a point. So I don't know what the grid penalty situation is this weekend. I did hear that Albon has got, I think a lot of drivers like Belgium have got big engine penalties, big grid penalties for this weekend. I don't exactly know who. I've not been watching the build-up, but I think it's going to be like Belgium in the sense that we're going to have 7 or 8 drivers with grid penalties. Alexander Albon maybe being one. But yeah, that's Williams. Obviously 10th in Constructors still with 4 points. I think they're going to end up 10th at this point. It is what it is. Hopefully they'll have a better season next year. 9th is Aston Martin on 25 points. They've been 9th for some time now of Aston Martin. But I wonder if they'll finish 9th because unlike AlphaTauri, they are scoring points on the regular Aston Martin. Now, it is just a point here, a point there, but it is starting to add up, and they are catching. I think they're about 4 points behind AlphaTauri now for 8th place in Constructors. And look, they do, like I've been saying, like on a perfect weekend, they do scrape a point or two. If you look at, let me bring this across. Yeah. I feel like I'm not centre, am I? Let me go over there. That's it. That's more centre, isn't it? I've not been centre, sitting here like, right guys, how you doing? Yeah, but I feel like on a good weekend they can scrape a points finish. You know, you've seen Lance Stroll. Look, in the last 4 races, he's 10th, 11th, 10th. You know, he's right on that cusp of getting points. Same with Vettel as well. You know, 11th, 10th, 8th. They can get in the points. Can AlphaTauri get in the points every weekend? Well, they've not shown it so far. So, you know, are Aston Martin on the up? I think they are, and I think Sebastian's got more to give. I think he might have retired too soon. You know, I think that's becoming my opinion now. Is that he's still got more to give, and he's thrown in the towel. I think of 2 years too soon. But yeah, that's Aston Martin. P8 is AlphaTauri. Like I say, only 4 points ahead of Aston Martin now, and they've had a pretty drastic season of AlphaTauri. It's been pretty awful, you know, especially comparing it to last year. On Sky, they've got Jenson Button driving his championship-winning Brawn car from 2009, just absolutely giving it hell round Silverstone. Heck of a car, that, tell you. But yeah, AlphaTauri not had a good year. I mean, 8th in Constructors, 29 points are being caught by Aston Martin. Like I say, Yuki Tsunoda scored 11 points. The thing is, as well, the weird scenario about this is that Yuki Tsunoda's not doing very well. and he might find himself being the lead driver for AlphaTauri next year, which is not a strong position for the team to be in. You know, Alpine are looking at taking AlphaTauri's star driver Pierre Gasly. Alpine are in for Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda being the lead driver. I mean, it doesn't strike me as being a great. It's not a great scenario for AlphaTauri. This, if Alpine do get Gasly, you know, AlphaTauri want this Colton Herta guy from IndyCar. I think he's 22-year-old, a real talent in IndyCar. Obviously, American guy, big hype. But they're struggling to get him. He hasn't got enough. To get a drive in Formula One, you've got to have super license points. You've got to have, I think it's 40 super license points, which basically means you're competitive in other series. You can't just pluck someone from the street and say you're driving in Formula One next year. They've got to have basically experience in other quick cars, so that they know they're not going to come in and it's going to be an embarrassment for the sport, embarrassment to themselves, etc. So there's this super license thing that's enforced where they've got to have 40 super license points. The super license points are gained by maybe winning races in Formula 2. Just being in Formula 2 gets you super license points. Being in IndyCar gets you super license points. Then winning championships in other categories gets you super license points. Now, Colton Herta hasn't got the 40 super license points he needs to be in Formula 1. Now, AlphaTauri are trying to negotiate that with the FIA and say, well, listen, look, he's won 7 races in IndyCar, he's doing well, you know, he's got, I think he's got 30 something super license points, he needs 40, but the FIA is standing strong. From what I hear with the news, the FIA is standing strong and saying, listen, you need 40 points or else you ain't coming in, you ain't a driver. So what are AlphaTauri going to do? I think if AlphaTauri don't get this Colton Herta guy, I think they're going to cling on to Pierre Gasly all they can. And then, are Alpine going to have to look elsewhere? What if Alpine can't get Gasly? Oh, it's a whole mess. But yeah, AlphaTauri are having a pretty shocking year. And I hope Pierre Gasly does get his move to Alpine. Next up is Haas. Having a difficult season, aren't they, Haas? They started off so well, and then they had a couple of mint races in the middle. But they started off so well, you know. Kevin bagging that P5 in Bahrain. And you thought, this could be a great season for Haas. I thought, they can be real midfield contender. Can they fight for 4th, 5th in Constructors? You know, I thought they're going to be bagging points every week. But it's not been like that. It's dropped off massively. They had a couple of back-to-back mega races in Austria and Britain. I mean, look at Kevin 10th and 8th, Britain and Austria. Mick 8th and 6th. But then since then, it's gone right off the boil again. Look at the last 4 races. Magnussen DNF, couple of 16th, 15th. Mick 15th, 14th, 17th, 13th. And Mick should have got more out of that Dutch Grand Prix last weekend as well. Mick was unlucky. I think he qualified 9th or 10th. It might have even been 8th. He might have even been 8th on the grid. He was 8th or 9th on the grid, Mick, last weekend. And they messed it up in the pit stop. He had like a 15-second pit stop when the normal is like 3 seconds. So they messed it up for him. And he still beat Kevin. But there is rumour now that Mick won't even get a drive. Like, there's a rumour that, like, Haas are looking at what's his name, Nico Hulkenberg and stuff, or Daniel Ricciardo. Like, would I have like a 35-year-old Nico Hulkenberg or whatever he is? He must be at least 33, 34. Hulkenberg. Right. So am I taking a 34-year-old Nico Hulkenberg and a massively out of form 32-year-old Daniel Ricciardo who's had an absolute nightmarish couple of years, well out of form, or am I sticking with 23-year-old Mick Schumacher, who's now up to speed, beating Kevin, proving his worth? I think stick with Mick. Not only because I'm a big fan of Mick Schumacher, but on a real, like, Hulkenberg and Ricardo, I think they've had the time. Hulkenberg especially, he's had his time. He's had his time. If they bring Hulkenberg back into the sport, it's like there's so many junior drivers queuing up, and you're gonna bring Nico Hulkenberg back. Nah, it ain't the one that. It ain't the one. They've got to stick with me. If Mick's out of a drive next season, I'll be absolutely gutted. I think he's done enough. I think he had a quiet start to the year and all the rest of it. He was a bit anonymous, but since mid-season, I think he's come on leaps and bounds. I think he deserves another shot, Mick. So yeah, that's Haas. 7th, 34 points. Started off well, faded away. Another team that started off well and has faded off dramatically. Alfa Romeo in 6th. 51 points. They've been on 51 points for ages. Since Canada, look at that. They've not scored a point in Canada. Also, when I was doing this, look at Valtteri Bottas's recent record. He's had 4 DNFs in the last 6 races, Valtteri Bottas. 4 DNFs in the 3 in a row. People don't even realise this. It's only when you keep track of the results that you realise that. But hell, Bottas barely finishing a race in the second half of the season. Also, Zhou Guanyu struggling as well. Obviously, he'll probably get another year in Formula 1, but he's struggling. He's not really set the world on fire, has he, Zhou Guanyu? And it's become an anonymous season for Alfa Romeo. Started off so well, but faded away. McLaren, as Christian Horner said about Red Bull a couple of years ago, running one-legged. Unfortunately, McLaren have been running one-legged this season. You've got Lando Norris, 7th in the championship on 82 points. And Daniel Ricciardo, 19 points. I mean, that's like a quarter of the points. Daniel Ricciardo with a quarter of the points of Lando Norris. One of the biggest disparities in teammates that I've ever seen. It's crazy. Look at the results. Lando Norris, look at his last 4. The last 5 results from Austria, he's had 4 7th places. Yeah, Belgium, P12. But look at the other races. I think Belgium as well. Was he one of the guys with the grid penalties starting way back? Lando might have started the Belgian Grand Prix from 18th or something. I don't really remember, but Lando's got great consistency. Obviously, you've got a new teammate next year. McLaren might be going places, but Daniel Ricciardo isn't. State of it. The thing is, I thought he'd come out after being dropped by McLaren before the Belgian Grand Prix. I thought he'd come out with a point to prove. I thought Daniel Ricciardo's going to be on it here. I think I even predicted him to finish top 6 or something a couple of weeks ago. I was like, right, he's going to come out all guns blazing now. He's been dropped. He's got a point to prove. He'll want to stay in Formula 1. And he's come out, and what would he finish? 15th. Right, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do a minute silence here. I'm gonna do it as well. I'm gonna do a minute silence for the Queen here. You gotta show your respects. Just a minute silence there. Yeah, definitely got to observe that. Right, minute silence for the Queen. That right, just madness. Where was I? McLaren, yeah, they've had a nightmare. Alpine up to fourth. And this is why they're beating McLaren. They've got both drivers in the points. Both drivers consistently scoring points. And that's why they're pulling away from McLaren now. I think the gap is, 20 points or something ahead of McLaren. They're pulling away. Look at. I didn't even realise this until last week. Look at Fernando Alonso's form since Spain. Every single race he's been in the points. Look at the last couple of races, 5th and 6th. Alpine have come on so much this season. Why Alonso's walking away, it seems mad to me. But yeah, don't forget. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Lando has been very consistent, Mark. Yeah, definite. He's had a great season with what he's got. Yeah, but cheers, Chris. Right. Also, you got Esteban Ocon consistently in the points as well, and this is why the fourth in constructors. Who will be Ocon's teammate for next season? It now becomes a big question. Will it be Pierre Gasly? Will he be able to get Gasly? That's going to be the next big news, I would assume, in Formula One. Third place in constructors at the moment then is Mercedes. Well, they'll probably end up third in constructors at the end of the season unless Ferrari mess it up even more than they have done up to this point. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton's 6th in the Drivers' Championship. Who'd have predicted that at the end of last season? After that monumental fight for the championship, who'd have said, right, Lewis is going to be 6th in the championship next year? He's going to be beaten by Russell. Because it looks like Russell is going to beat him in the championship. I mean, there's still 7 races to go. Russell's 30 points ahead of Hamilton in the championship with 7 races to go. Russell has been one of the drivers of the season. I mean, Max Verstappen aside, obviously Verstappen's in a different league this year. But other than Verstappen, I think I've been most impressed with George Russell this year. He's turned up and he's been top 5 every single race, other than the British Grand Prix, ironically, where he was involved in that Turn 1 incident that flipped Zhou upside down. He was involved in that. Other than that, look at the results. It's unbelievable from George Russell. Talk about hit the ground running. He's had a phenomenal season. And are we watching the emergence of a future world champion in George Russell? Everyone raves about Lando Norris. Everyone raves about, Charles Leclerc but George Russell, he's proved that he can go toe to toe with Lewis week in, week out. Watch this space on George Russell. I think, we could be seeing championships in the future between, Verstappen versus Russell. Never mind Norris. He might be stuck at McLaren the next 4 or 5 years. And McLaren going to build a championship winning car? I think we could see championships of Verstappen v Russell the next few years. But yeah, that's Mercedes. Obviously done the most of what they've got. They had a dodgy start to the season and they had the porpoising and all the rest of it. Ferrari, an absolute mess, an absolute disaster class from Ferrari considering the car they've got this year. Way off in terms of points now. The championship's over. Leclerc, lucky to get a podium. Leclerc, first podium in 9 races the other week. It's been a mess. Like I said the other week, I've never seen a championship contending team have such poor reliability. And not only the reliability, the strategies, the driver errors, an absolute mess. Hi Farhan, welcome in to the stream. George has been mega. Yeah, Ferrari. Honestly, Angelo, I can't believe it. Like, there's a point where it's like people are joking and like, oh, Ferrari messed up again. But then it like gets to a point where you're 14, 15 races into a season, you're going, they're still messing it up. Like last week, they put three tyres on the car like 3 wheels on the car instead of 4. Like, Are you for real? Like, how is Mattia Binotto still in charge of that team? I do not know. But yeah, that's Ferrari. Red Bull running away with it, given the championship now. We see the new livery on the Ferrari, special one-off with the yellow. Yeah, it looks weird. I'm not sure about the livery. It looks like kind of like ketchup and mustard. But yeah, that's the rundown. I think I just lagged out, so apologies for that if it lagged out. Yeah, the stream has been going for 11 seconds, so I assume it lagged out for a minute and reset the whole thing. But yeah, that's the rundown. These are the standings. I think I'm back live again. Wow, that's so zoomed out as opposed to the other camera. I don't know why. But yeah, these are the standings heading into the Italian Grand Prix then. So obviously you got Verstappen 310. He's well out in front now. What's that? 109-point lead over Leclerc and Perez. I mean, the battle's for P2 in the championship now, isn't it? With Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Sainz. This is the point we've got to. And then you've obviously got the battle for fourth in constructors as well. Alpine, McLaren, 24 points in that. Can Mercedes catch Ferrari for P2 in constructors? Probably not. That's the championship. Verstappen's absolutely ran away with it. Just quickly, predictions before the lights go out. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Chris. A bit weird, isn't it? They've got a black band on the Mercedes as well. But right, predictions. Right, this is what I've gone for. Now, this is without knowing any grid penalties, and I don't know. So when I get the commentary on my ears, I'll relay I don't know who's got a grid penalty, but I know there's a lot. But I've got Nicholas Latifi, P10, because Williams. Right, this is me. Me thought process. Williams looking quick on the straights in Belgium. What's Monza? Straights. I think Williams can have a strong weekend. Now, I don't know who's got grid penalties, whether Latifi has, Albon has. I don't know. They might be starting from the back anyway. Look at all these things on the cars about for the Queen and that. Haas rocking with a big... Anyway, yeah, so I've gone Latifi, Schumacher, Norris, Albon. I'm going to double Williams points finish, but I don't know that they might be absolutely... no idea, Farron. You have to ask him. Alonso, I've gone P6, Sainz P5, Russell P4, Hamilton P3, and I've gone Leclerc to beat Verstappen in Italy. That's what I'm going for. I think it's about time Ferrari got it right, and they need a bit of a motivation boost. And yeah, Ferrari to win at home would be a nice story. I would like Leclerc to beat Verstappen this weekend. I know I always stay neutral, but come on. Verstappen's had enough wins now. We know he's going to win the championship. But yeah, we're getting underway for FP1. Let me get on the right screen. Yeah, so let me refresh this. Okay. Yeah, right. Hopefully that works. Let me just sort it out because it's not... I'm not showing all the drivers. Bear with me. Let's reduce it a little bit. There we go. Giovinazzi back in the Formula 1 car. I didn't think I'd see that, honestly. I did not think I'd see that. I might as well get rid of them. Oh, the livery does actually look good on the Ferrari, actually. No, I changed my mind. The Ferrari looks good. Wow, the camera seems so laggy. IRSHT, welcome to the stream. Finally, Gio back. Are you a Giovinazzi fan? Are you? I'm surprised to see Giovinazzi back in a Formula One session. To be honest, I thought he's done. I thought he's done, mate. I mean, Giovinazzi wasn't. He was in the anonymous category. Giovinazzi, not awful, like not terrible, but not headline grabbing. I feel like if you're in Formula One, you've got to grab the headlines. You've got to do something magic. Giovinazzi, I put him in the same category as Marcus Ericsson. Like, obviously, one of the best drivers in the world. Obviously. But Formula One, you've got to be one of the best drivers in the world, but you've also got to have a little bit of magic. A little bit of something that goes beyond mere mortals. You know what I mean? That little bit of, oh, how's he done that? You know what I mean? How has he done that? When did you see Giovinazzi or Marcus Ericsson? You know what I mean? Same category for me. Whereas with like Alonso or Verstappen or Hamilton or these elite drivers, you go, how has he done? You know, over the years, there's moments where you go, I can't believe that. You know, how has he pulled that out of the bag? And that's what separates it for me. So I don't know. Giovinazzi. How old's Giovinazzi? About 28, 29-ish. It's just been a while. Yeah. Forza Antonio. Hey. Oh, back it. Valerio, welcome to the stream. I mean, am I missing something with Giovinazzi? Am I missing something here? I mean, he's got a great name, isn't it? Antonio Giovinazzi. You can't knock him for the exotic name. He sounds like he should be in Formula One. But I don't know. I feel like if you had a list of every result that Antonio Giovinazzi had in his career, would there be anything that you look twice at there? You know, it'd just be a sea of like P14s, wouldn't it? Let's face it. But yeah, we're underway for FP1 anyway. Let me get the flipping. Why does that not move? I have tried to put the live chat on the stream, but that's working as well as anything I try on this stream. Perez to start from the back. Well, this is it, SHT. I think there's a lot of drivers starting from the back. Here we go. Perez to start from the back and Max take a 5-place grid penalty. Yeah. Hamilton, Bottas and Mick also start from the back. Mate, this is another confusing one like Belgium, this, isn't it? So you've got Hamilton, Bottas, Mick. Tsunoda with a 10-place grid penalty. Yeah, Alonso might be starting. I mean, they can't all start from the back. Look at the DRS on Sergio Perez. Flapping in the wind. Oh, that looks like it's going to snap off, that. No, that ain't right. That DRS on Sergio Perez. Yeah, putting the live chat on the screen ain't working. But we tried it. Move that up there. I don't know why they... Oh, yeah, I know. I get it now. Both Red Bulls take grid penalties, yeah. Also put Science and Magazine. Oh, listen, SHT. It's going to be an absolute nightmare qualifying, isn't it? Antonio Perez. He's Sergio Perez's dad in the garage, loving it. I mean, the thing is, names that aren't in all that lot is Leclerc and Sainz. You know, if everyone's got grid penalties around them, could it leave car? You know, could it end up on the grid? It's got to be a Ferrari 1-2 on the grid, on it, in qualifying. Looking at everyone on the grid, look at the. I tell you what, no special livery or not, a yellow crash helmet in that Ferrari looks absolutely bang on. That works. One of them should keep that. I always think the special edition crash helmets, I always think, why is that not just your crash helmet? Like the orange crash helmet that Max ran in Belgium last year, why isn't that just his regular? This looks better. The Ferrari looks better now, especially with the yellow. It's easy to tell the drive. If one of them keeps that yellow crash helmet, makes perfect for commentary. Because it's obvious straight away. I actually like the livery. You know, when I saw the rendered pictures of that from Ferrari a couple of days ago, I was like, what in hell is this? But seeing it on track, I reckon it looks decent. I don't know why the GPS ain't working, but the timings are working, I think. It is what it is. It's practice one anyway. Worry about the GPS when we get to the race, innit? SHC, I was saying, Bottas is worse than that. He's had 4 DNFs in the last 6 races. Bottas. 3 DNFs in a row. It goes under the radar, that, but if you know, if, I don't know, a driver that people rate, or a driver that's got more headlines, like let's say Norris had have had 4 DNFs in the last 6, it'd be big news, you know, or like, I mean, if it was other drivers, that'd be they'd be getting slated. That would be like, what's going on here? Oh, Pierre Gasly, yeah. What's with this? What's with the smoke of the brakes? On board Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen goes quickest in the middle sector, but it's Alonso setting the early pace. Verstappen now goes quickest by a big chunk. Let me get the 50 minutes. Hi Samantha, welcome to the stream. You join us 10 minutes into Friday practice 1 ahead of the Italian Grand Prix. Let me get a countdown timer on. Whoa. Yeah, I'll do. I'll refresh this, see if we can see if the GPS loads up. May as well give it a go. Pierre Gasly just about to come out of the yeah, I don't know what happened with Pierre Gasly. Something with the rear brakes. He's running a lot of flow of his paint as well. I don't know why the GPS isn't on, but they'll think the live timers are working anyway. It's a case of it is what it is, I think. New to stream, won't be able to watch FP1. How the Alpines looking so far? I mean, you're 12 minutes into FP1. You can't draw any conclusions on anyone yet. But second and fifth. It's not a bad start to the weekend, is it? But obviously, very early days. We get, you know, by the end of FP2, you get a better idea who's looking potentially competitive, who's looking quick, who's struggling. Obviously, Alpine quick out of the box, P2 for Esteban Ocon, P5 for Fernando Alonso, but it's way too early. I mean, you've got Alexander Albon P4 at the moment. But having said Alexander Albon up there, as Alonso goes P3, a full 1.1 off the pace, but I think Williams will be a bit of a dark horse this weekend. So we've got a couple of drivers subbing in this FP1 session that I've not mentioned yet. So you've got Antonio Giovinazzi in the Haas in place of Mick Schumacher just for FP1. And you've also got Nick De Vries in for Vettel. So you've got Nick De Vries in place of Vettel in the Aston Martin for FP1. And Antonio Giovinazzi in place for Mick Schumacher at Haas. So I wonder if we'll see a situation where Nick De Vries gets the Williams seat next to Albon for 23 and Giovinazzi replaces Mick Schumacher. Potentially. But if I was Gunter Steiner and my choice is like Giovinazzi, Hülkenberg, Schumacher, I stick with Schumacher. I don't know what you think, but Alpine podium at Monza, yeah, Enrique. I wouldn't say it's out of the question. And you know, apparently with what SHT's saying about all these grid penalties, we could see it could be like Belgium again, where you've got 7 or 8 drivers all going to the back of the grid. And, you know, obviously they can't all start from the back. But you're going to see half the grid. The qualifying final order will not be the grid on Sunday, put it that way. So you never know. It could be a podium opportunity for someone like Alonso, Ocon, Norris. You know, people that can sneak on the podium that have been there or thereabouts might get the opportunity this weekend to go that extra, you know, a couple of positions, you know, with Red Bulls at the back or, you know, Hamilton at the back and so on. You could get an unlikely podium sitter this weekend, which I'm all for. Sign me up for that. De Vries done 3 FP1 sessions in 3 different teams this season. Yeah, has he? Has De Vries done a FP1 for Williams? No way, I didn't know that. Who's De Vries done practice for then? Has he done one for Mercedes? I think he's done one for Mercedes, hasn't he? I remember talking about it because Hamilton missed a session. I remember Hamilton missed a session. I was saying Hamilton's never missed a session. That's right. So has he done one for Mercedes and Williams? And now Aston Martin. Yeah, I do SHT. If he's not starting P20 or whatever, I've got Albon P7, which might be I might be over egging it there with a P7 prediction, but he could get a point. Alex this weekend, could Nicky Latifi get a point this weekend? Or is he on the list? Is he on the grid penalty list? I tell you what, there's a few on the grid penalty list, isn't there, this weekend, SHT? You know what I mean? I need you giving a live flipping update. Or I need a list. Forget trying to put the live chat on the screen. I need to have a list of who's got a grid penalty. I'll rig that up for FP2. Carlos Sainz. Cars in bits here in the garage. They've got the side pod off. All the internals on show. So Sainz looking like he's not getting out of the garage anytime soon. Replay on board with Sergio Perez into turn 1. And sailing past an Alpine. Well, outbreaks himself. Has to go through the runoff area. Does Sergio Perez lock in the front right tyre into turn 1? All predict Albon, yeah. I think McLaren could struggle this weekend like a straight line speed, yeah. It could be a tough one. It could be a tough one for McLaren, this. So, with 15 minutes gone in FP1, is Verstappen quickest on a 1:22.8. Alonso P2 on the hard tyres as well, Verstappen on the hard tyres. Alonso on the hard tyres, but a full 1.1 seconds off. Ocon P3 on the mediums, 1.3 off. Albon at the moment, P4 in that Williams on the medium tyre though. A second of that. I can't believe Verstappen's already got a second on the field. What's that about? I don't like that. It's an ominous sign that 15 minutes into FP1, Verstappen's already got a second on the field. But no, obviously people haven't set proper representative lap times yet. Perez is P5, Leclerc P6, Yuki Tsunoda on the soft tyre P7. I think he's about the only driver that's been out on the softs, and he is out on the softs now. Yuki Tsunoda P7. Bottas P8, Stroll 9th, Gasly 10th, but it's very early days. Impossible to read into anything yet. Nick did FP1 for Williams in Spain, yeah. Yeah, 3 FP1 sessions. I think there's a good chance you'll see De Vries in that second Williams next year. I think you're going to see a lineup of Albon and De Vries. I think Toto Wolff wants to get him in. I thought he'd missed his opportunity. I thought if we were going to see De Vries in Formula 1, I thought it would have been 2-3 years ago. But I don't know how old is De Vries. Mid-20s? 26? Something like that? 27 maybe? But maybe now he gets his shot in Formula 1. He should have got it. I'm sure he's Formula 2 champion when he De Vries like 4 years ago. Thought he'd missed his chance, but no, I think he might be there with Albon next year. Hope so, anyway. But there's still a lot of musical chairs to play out. You know, is Mick going to get another year? Are Alpine going to get Gasly out of AlphaTauri? That's the big one. I think if they don't, we've got an interesting. Then it becomes really interesting. If AlphaTauri managed to keep Pierre Gasly, maybe because they can't get this Colton Herta guy. If they can't get Colton Herta and they keep Pierre Gasly, because you've got to remember, Gasly signed up for 2023. Gasly's already agreed to stay with AlphaTauri up till now. He signed the deal. Yuki Tsunoda goes second on the soft tyre. Still a 1.1 off Verstappen's early lap time. But yeah, if Alpine don't get Gasly, then it gets interesting. Then what happens? Who are Alpine going for? What's Alpine's plan B? Daniel Ricciardo? I don't think so. Honestly, I want Nick to race in F1, yeah. F2, well, this is it. Nick was F2 champion 2019. This is it. But then he was one of those ones that missed out. It's weird, F2, you know. Some years you'll have 3 drivers who'll all get promoted at the same time. Like when the year when we got Albon, Norris and Russell all at the same time. I think, you know, at the end of 2018, I think it was, something like that. You know, you got 3. And then sometimes you have 2-3 years where no one from F2 is promoted and it's just all locked in, you know. And unfortunately, Nick De Vries was in one of those phases where all the seats were taken. He's won the championship, but there isn't a spot for him. And of course, if you're Formula 2 champion, you can't compete in it again. So you can't just stay in Formula 2, which is a good idea. It stops like someone just dominating Formula 2 for a decade. So yeah, if you win the Formula 2 championship, you've got to move on to somewhere else. So they either go on the sidelines, they go over to IndyCar, they go, you know, Nick De Vries was just one of the guys left on, you know, I think he went to Formula E. Formula E, isn't there? It's absolutely tragic, Formula E. So I hope he gets a big shot. Maybe Rick to Alpine if he doesn't join. I think that's looking more and more of a risk with every passing race. I think Ricciardo to even be in Formula One is looking more and more of an outside bet with every single race that passes. I feel like I don't know what's going on with Daniel Ricciardo, but it's just not showing. Well, Haas look at Ricciardo and even Haas might look at Daniel Ricciardo and think, this is a big risk. Are we the ones to pull him out of this rut? Are we the ones to bring back 2018 Daniel Ricciardo? Are we the ones? I feel like it's a big risk to go for Ricciardo at the moment. Especially if you're Alpine, on the up, you're going to be fourth in constructors. I think they're pretty much nailed on to beat McLaren. Alpine are a big outfit. Are they going to want to go back to Danny Rick now? This isn't 2018 Danny. I think that's a big risk, that. I don't know. I don't know where Alpine turn if they don't get Pierre. It would certainly be interesting. Don't think Rick will get a recent for. I don't. I think Ricciardo is going to be in IndyCar, Formula E. Oh God, can you imagine? I could see Danny Rick going to IndyCar and tearing it up. Honestly, being one of the big names in IndyCar or something like that. Who knows? Who can predict it at this point? Might be Mick in Alpine, SHT. Don't tempt me. I would love that. But it's an outside shot. I mean, Esteban Ocon wants it. Ocon said he'd love Schumacher. Well, not love, but he said he wants Schumacher as his teammate. Is that because he'd think he's easy to beat? I don't know. But Ocon wants it. I want it. For anyone who's new to the stream or whatever, not seen me before. Haas. I'm a Mick Schumacher fan, even though this is a Kevin Magnussen t-shirt. I'm a Mick Schumacher fan, and we could be in a position where he's not even got a seat for next year. But he could also be in the Alpine for next year. Oh God, it could be nerve-wracking. I think he's done enough to remain at Haas, to be honest. Does he deserve a promotion, and go up to Alpine? Probably not. But has he done enough to remain in Formula One? I think so. I think he's showing now that he's good enough. If he gets dropped, I'll be absolutely gutted. If Mick gets dropped, oh my God, mate, I wouldn't know what to do. I feel hollow. I don't know what to do. I'm like, who do I support now? Alex? Maybe? Yeah. If Mick wasn't there, I'd probably support Alex, to be honest, or I don't really know. I'd be fully neutral. I don't know. But yeah, some rumours of the F2 Academy, Jack Doohan has become one of the... Well, I imagine they take that risk. Jack Doohan's doing really well, isn't he, in F2? I mean, I should watch more Formula 2. I watch Formula 2 occasionally, and maybe should watch it more religiously than I do. Especially now I'm doing this, I've got to get fully on board with Formula 2. I always feel like it's so much racing in one weekend. I almost like with the Formula 1 sessions, I feel like that's enough. Like if you watch Formula 1 and all the Formula 2 sessions as well, like Jesus, you'd be sat in front of, for one thing, you'd be sat in front of the TV for like 15 hours. And the other side, it's like, oh, it becomes too much. When do you switch it off? But yeah, I'm gonna have to follow it more closely. But I know he is doing well, Jack doing. But yeah, Alonso this weekend will tie Raikkonen with most number of race starts 349. Wow! And the thing is, Alonso might get to flipping 400 at this rate. You know, he's gonna do another 2 years after this at least. So let's add 40. Yeah, Alonso could get to 400, which is a 400 Grand Prix. What's Lewis on? Lewis on 300 now, isn't he? Lewis is on, gotta be on 300 something. In fact, was his 300th race pretty recently, actually? To be honest, Alpine's secured Alonso, give Ocon seat to Piastri. Well, I don't know about that. No, I think Ocon is Ocon's a good driver, you know. You can't just be. I feel like a lot of people overlook Ocon because he's not really got like a big personality, or he's not a headline grabbing driver. He's not a big personality, a big name in Formula One. But Esteban Ocon, you can't drop Esteban Ocon. He's been brilliant this season. He's been one of the drivers of the season. If you're looking beyond Verstappen, you know, you got to be looking at Russell, Ocon. Ocon's done a brilliant job. So you can't just chuck him out just because, you know what I mean? You're not selling as much merchandise or whatever just because you're not a big personality. He's doing the job in the car, is Ocon. They fumbled themselves not keeping Alonso, yeah. He is on a 10. You know, I did a little preview before this practice session started. You know, Alonso's been in the points every race in Spain. It's mad. He's doing really well. Alpine in general, come on, really strong. Albon goes P3 on the soft tyre. 123.5, so it's Leclerc on a 22.4 now, with half the session gone. Yeah, they worry because of his age. Exactly. SHT. They lost Alonso and Piastri in the space of a week. I mean, that is tragic, that, isn't it, for Alpine. To lose the senior driver and, you know, the world champion driver, and to lose the young gun, the young upcoming star, and they lost them both in a week. Mad. Giovinazzi goes P11 on the soft tyre in the Haas. Here comes Fernando Alonso to start a flying lap on the soft tyres then. Halfway through this FP1 session, Leclerc from Verstappen, Albon top 3. Ricciardo up there in 4th at the minute, Tsunoda, Magnussen, but I feel like well, it's basically the half dozen drivers that have done a lap on the soft tyre and now in the half dozen positions on the timing sheet. Alpine with the black nose in respect. I tell you what, a lot of them have got little touches on the car for in respect to the Queen. Alonso had 2 5th place finishes in Silverstone and Spa, yeah. I know SHT. I keep track of it. Yeah. Yeah, keep track of the results, man. For the little rundown I do before each weekend starts. So before FP1 started, you know, do a little rundown. Got all the results on the screen, and yeah, Alonso's been brilliant since Spain. And Alonso goes P3, 8 tenths off the Leclerc's pace in the Ferrari. But not bad. Not bad. Half a second quicker than Ricciardo's McLaren. Jack doing in the Alpine garage. Maybe that's where they turn then. So maybe then, if Alpine don't get Gasly, they go Jack Doohan then. Maybe that's the plan. I mean, I need to watch every single Formula 2 race to know exactly um, the prospect of Jack Doohan, but I know he's been up there every time I've seen it. Every time I've watched Formula 2, his name's always been near the top. You know, with Deruvala, Teo Porcher, um, no, the Karen Chandok's talking about trying to get Daniel Ricciardo back. No, I wouldn't do it. Chandok's Chandok's spitting the case for Alpine going back to Daniel Ricciardo. I don't back it. No, I don't back it. I think it's too much of a risk. Why is Norris and Verstappen racing into Parabolica? Verstappen and Norris giving it the full side by side into Parabolica then at 200 mile an hour. Verstappen backed out of it and thought better of that, but that was a bit close in an FP1 session anyway. But yeah, no, I don't back Alpine going back to Daniel Ricciardo. It's like there's a few things about it, like you left us. Like Alpine can look at it and go, yeah, you left us and it's gone wrong for you. Unlucky, mate. Do you know what I mean? If I'm Alpine, I look at Daniel Ricciardo and go, you left us and it's gone wrong. What, now you want to come back? Nah. If I'm Alpine, I don't... Ricciardo's like a plan D for me if I'm Alpine. Definitely not plan A. Like, he was good, but like, he was good 4 years ago, do you know what I mean? Like... Verstappen purple in Sector 1 anyway. And Sector 2, Verstappen on a flying lap here, but he's behind... Who's he stuck behind? Is this a Mercedes? Oh, he's not getting out of the way. Oh, it's a McLaren of Lando Norris, and Norris doesn't get out of the way. Oh, he's going to be absolutely fuming with Lando Norris. Yeah, Verstappen going to be fuming with Lando Norris there. Oh, Norris is giving this a wide berth because Verstappen's absolutely fuming. Oh, a comparison of the rear wings between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Yeah, Mercedes running a lot lower downforce rear wing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mercedes... Mercedes looks a lot lower downforce to me than the Red Bull. Mercedes going for the straight line speed then. Um, Alpine don't know what to say. I think they did one. I think they were just offering him a 1 year deal, wasn't it? SHT. I think they were just, and you know, Fernando wanted the security of at least a 2 year deal, maybe, and probably maybe Aston Martin offering him a big, big salary, as if he's not already on a big salary, but an even bigger salary, maybe. Maybe they've promised him things for 2023 that they turned their attention to 2023 months ago, maybe. I don't know, they sold him the dream, haven't they? Not bad about Monza's move to Ferrari. Alpine's decision is just questionable, yeah. Alpine have dropped there. Alpine have fumbled it, like you said before. They've really fumbled it. I mean, Ocon Doohan. Or Doohan, I don't even know you really pronounce his name, but Ocon and Doohan drive a lineup against, think about this, McLaren's lineup's going to be Norris Piastri versus Ocon Doohan. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But then, what Ocon Ricardo? Mate. Ocon Schumacher is what we want. Ocon Schumacher in the Alpine is what we want. That's what I want. That's what I want anyway. Oh, then he'd step up then, Mick. I reckon Mick, you'd see a different Mick Schumacher then. If he's like in contention for like top 6, top 8, Mick could step up then. I'd be mint. But he won't get it. He won't get it. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming if I think Mick's going to. Mick won't even be in Formula 1 next season, for God's sake. Giving it the big one that he's going to be Alpine, he'd probably be dropped altogether. Mick Schumacher could probably be in Formula E. I'll be sat there like, oh my God, am I watching Formula E now? Oh no. No, Formula E's tragic. If Mick goes to Formula E, it's like, so long, farewell, Mick. Have a good career. I'm out. I'm out, bro. No, so long, farewell, mate, if he goes to Formula E. Yeah, you know what I mean? You'll never see a Formula E watch along on this channel. That's a fact. You're as likely to see a Formula E watch along on this channel as you are a cricket watch along. And I've never watched cricket in my whole life. Oh, mate. Actually, Ocon running a Michael Schumacher tribute helmet this weekend. Looking mint. I don't know. I don't really know why. I mean, obviously, Schumacher won quite a few Italian Grand Prix over his Ferrari years, but I don't really know how it's that relevant that Ocon's got the Michael Schumacher helmet, but each to their own. He's decided to do it. Fair enough. That's a bad offer when Alonso wants to race F1 for... Yeah, well, this is it. And he's proving that he's still got it. You know what I mean? Still got it, never lose it, Fernando Alonso. What is he, 41? He's still got it. Ocon goes P4. Alpine's a 4th and 5th at the moment. 6/10 off the pace of Charles Leclerc. Mark Smith is a very famous motorbike rider, Mick Doohan. Oh, is he? See, I didn't know that. You see, I don't follow the bikes. I didn't know that, but so he's brought up in a racing, so he's in a racing family then. Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks for that. You know, if there's something in bikes or flipping IndyCar or NASCAR or something, you know, I'm not about it. I did have a phase of watching NASCAR, to be fair, when, you know, I'm past a bit of NASCAR, you know. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. You know, I always find that funny. I always find that quite entertaining, actually. A bit of American over the top. You can't beat it. It's cheesy as all hell, isn't it? So corny, but I do like a bit. But the bike racing has never grabbed me at all. I don't know what it is about the bikes, but it's just I don't even know, because my dad was a professional. Like, my dad did it as a career. My dad was a bike racer. Like, you know, I'm Jack Doohan in that respect, but I have absolutely no interest in it at all. It's weird. It is weird. No, 4 wheels for me, my lad. I don't know why. His dad's a 5-time world champion. Oh no, my dad wasn't a 5-time world champion. He was British champion though, back in '86. But that's a different story for a different day. You've seen the comparison of Alpine drivers. Yeah, they are evenly matched, and that's why they're beating McLaren, because Alpine have got the evenly matched drivers, finishing 6th and 7th, 7th and 8th every weekend, and McLaren have got 1 in the points and 1 in P15, and that's basically it in a nutshell. You know, so Alpine are clutching that 4th place easily. So the thing is, what a weird scenario for Alpine. The fact that they've got these two consistent drivers means that they beat McLaren, and then they take the weak link from McLaren and put it in their car. The reason, like, it's such a weird. The reason why Alpine are beating McLaren is because of Daniel Ricciardo's form, and they're going to take Daniel Ricciardo and go, yeah, we'll put you in our car. What? It's just literally like, you seriously, Daniel Ricciardo being in such poor form is the reason Alpine are beating him. You can't then take that weak link and put that in your car, can you? Really? Really? I mean, I know he was good, man. I know he was good. Danny Ricciardo used to be the best overtaker in Formula 1. He used to be latest on the brakes, diving down the inside. He used to pull off some mad manoeuvres, Danny Ricciardo, back in the day. You know, he used to be one of the most exciting drivers. But that Daniel, I'm afraid that Daniel's long gone. The reality of that is horrible. But that Daniel is long gone. Can it ever come back? Can it ever come back? I don't know if it can. I tell you what, if I'm Alpine, I don't take the risk that it's ever going to come back. Ocon on a new engine changes. Rover still rapid. Yeah, new engine, old engine, doesn't matter, does it? Alpine's still quick. Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Sidecar, though. Sidecar. Yeah. Do you know what? You know, sidecar. Not many people. You see, I never talk about it because when people think of sidecar, they think of like Wallace and Gromit, innit? Like, or some, but nah, because yeah, British sidecar champion. Yeah, 86, I think. Back in the day. Back in the days. You're lucky to survive. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky that he's lived to tell the tale. Alpine's strategy was perfectly executed. Some great pace finish. Yeah. I mean, are you sponsored by Alpine SHT? Is this a party political broadcast by Alpine? This it seems like. No, they are doing a good job. They are doing a good job. Yeah, on the track they are anyway. Off track, it's been a disaster. Alonso going and Piastri going, but on track, yeah, they're getting the business done. In fact, let me just change that. Yeah, that makes it easy to. But yeah, 15 minutes to go in FP1. And it is a Ferrari 1-2 now. Mercedes 3-4. Leclerc from Sainz by 0.2. Russell 0.2 off that. They must be on the soft tyre. Oh, Sky on an ad break at the minute, so I'm not sure, but they must be on the soft tyre. Alpines are now 6th and 7th. Why is Giovinazzi in De Vries' name in block capitals? Probably because they're not usually on the grid. Ricciardo P10, Norris 16th for the minute. It's hard to draw any conclusions from this. Ferrari looking good though. For FP2, I'm going to have some kind of list of who's got grid penalties. I know I need to research it or look back at what SHT said before. I need to look back who exactly's got grid penalties for this weekend and get it on screen because it's so confusing. Replay on board with George Russell then into turn 1. Seems fine to me. complaining about his brakes into turn one is George Russell. Imagine Alonso in the Aston Martin be both out, but imagine. This is it. Can Aston Martin make a massive step up next year? That's obviously what they must have convinced Alonso of, as well as the contract length and all the rest of it. They must have convinced him that next year is going to be completely different for Aston Martin. You know, they're not going to be ninth. They're not going to be struggling to get out of Q1. They're going to be on it. So we will see. We will see. Maybe they're completely changing concept. I wouldn't be surprised if Aston Martin turned their attention to next year's car months ago as well. Number one Alonso team, yeah, they're the Enstone team, aren't they? That Alonso was with way back when. Oh, when did he drive for Renault? It's from 2002 or 2003 to 2006, and then 2008 and 9, and then 2020 to 22. Oh God, 3 different spells he's had at that Enstone team, hasn't he? Over the years, Alonso. Flipping heck, trying to pull that one out of the bag. Difficult to remember exactly. I feel like we don't have a backmarker team this year. It's just Latifi. Yeah, it's a good point. We haven't really got a backmarker team this year. No, you're right. Because last year, well, Williams were way off it, weren't they? I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Williams were way off it, like 3-4 seconds off the pace. You know, when it was Russell. It was Russell and Latifi back 2-3 years ago. It was way off, and then we had a year where Haas were way off it as well. Last year, I think it was Haas last year, wasn't it? With what was his name? Russian Donny. Oh, Mazepin. When it was Mazepin Schumacher last year, Haas were well off it, weren't they? But this year we've not really got that backmarker like horrific team that's 4 seconds off. We've just kind of got Latifi who's not really up to standard. Latifi's not really kind of not up to scratch. But the rest of them, it's actually been a pretty competitive season. Put Verstappen aside, and it's actually been a really competitive season with regards to everybody else. It's a shame that Verstappen sort of won 10 out of 50. Well, not a shame. Not a shame. They've done the best job, haven't they? They've you know, it's not a shame. It's just, it is what it is. Some years you get the years where everything just works out perfectly for a certain team and a certain drive, and they run away with it. You know, we've seen many years with Lewis Hamilton where they've just where Hamilton's won 10 out of 15 and he's ran away with it. You know, Sebastian Vettel back in the day, you know, 2013, he just ran away with it stuff. So it's not unfortunate. It just is what it is. They've just got it right. Him aside, everyone else has been, you know, I mean, what's the gap between like Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, Haas, Williams? Like, you can put them in any order any weekend. Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, Haas. You know what I mean? Aston Martin in that group as well, where any one of them can be at the top of that pile on any given weekend. There's not really a defined order, which is good, obviously. Williams with garbage, yeah, I remember. That's it, Russell Kubica. That's it. That was the horrendous year. Was that 19? I feel like that was like 2019 or maybe 20. Yeah, that those Williams were in the doldrums then. They're coming back from that. They're still recovering from that. I think it was like 19, 20, wasn't it? They're still recovering from that. It was embarrassing that. I mean, they were barely in the 107% rule. Like 4.5 seconds off the pace. Like, what is going on? But yeah, this FP1 session's nearly done. Less than 8 minutes to go. I was wrong about the Ferrari livery. I love it. I saw the renders of it. I was like, what is this? But I really like the Ferrari livery. And one of those two drivers, whether Leclerc or Sainz, should stick with a yellow helmet, stick with a yellow lid, and decide that's it. I'll stick with it because it's easy to spot. And it matches it. It matches it a treat. I think it looks good. It'd certainly be easy to spot which driver's which going forward because they both have a red and black lid. Leclerc and Sainz. It's pretty difficult to spot them apart at a glance like that. You just see them at a glance. Boom, 150 mile an hour. Can you tell the difference between Leclerc and Sainz? There's little hints, but in general, it's been pretty difficult. At Williams pace, like Caterham, Russia, and HRT, yeah. Yeah, do you remember that? Caterham, Russia, and RSHT. And HRT. Yeah. Is that 2010, 11, and 12? Marussia, no, it started out, it was Virgin Racing originally. It was Virgin Racing with like Lucas Di Grassi and flipping Timo Glock. Remember that one? Virgin Racing, yeah, they're flipping mad. Because it was Tony Fernandez for Caterham. No, in fact, before Caterham, it was Team Lotus, wasn't it? It was Tony Fernandez Team Lotus. They had a whole PR nightmare, didn't they? Trying to call it Lotus. They had an absolute PR nightmare trying to call that team Lotus. And it was Tony Fernandez who owns, is it Air Asia? Or co-owned it or whatever, CEO or whatever of Air Asia, versus Virgin Racing, Richard Branson, who obviously owns Virgin Atlantic. And they had a bit of a rivalry going on, but the rivalry was like, who can finish 12th or something in a race. Oh my God, De Vries over the gravel at Ascari, straight over the gravel at Ascari, and that won't do the bottom of the car any good at all. But yeah, that was 13 years ago. That with Fernandez versus Branson. Yeah, Lotus then Caterham. Yeah, and it went. Yeah, Virgin then Marussia then Manor. Oh my God, yeah. They were good years though for the sport. 2010, 11, 12. They were good years, man. I don't know if I'm looking at that just because that's when I was like really into it. Like I'm really into it now, but I was really into it then. Like really into it. I don't know if it's just I'm just like on a rose. What do you call it? Rose tinted glasses one. But it feels like they were good years then. It feels like when I think back to it, it feels like there's five teams could win and stuff like that. 12 teams. Oh, was it? Yeah. No, was it 13 teams? No, 12 teams. Was there 26 cars from 2010 to 2012? Was there 13 teams? Oh no, because Haas wasn't here yet. No, Haas wasn't here yet, so it's 12. So it's 12 teams. Because Haas wasn't here yet. Haas didn't exist. No, yeah, 12 teams. It was 12 teams, which is still, it's better than what we've got now. But I've not even spoken about FP1. I just found out a full conversation. But yeah, 3 minutes to go, and it's Ferrari 1-2, Leclerc from Sainz by 77 thousandths of a second. Mercedes third and fourth, Russell and Hamilton within half a second of the Ferraris. So is Verstappen. He's in P5. Why is Perez 1.2 seconds off the pace in 14th? I do not know. Alpine's looking good in 6th and 7th. Tsunoda P8, Bottas 9th, Ricciardo 10th. Ricciardo 4/10ths quicker than Norris at the minute. Norris looking to be on a lap, but isn't setting a personal best at the moment, Lando Norris. De Vries and Giovinazzi both ahead of Nicholas Latifi in the Williams. Latifi out, innit? Latifi out. De Vries can just turn up in a practice session and be quicker. Giovinazzi can just turn up in a random practice session and be quicker than Nicholas Latifi. His days are numbered. Gotta be. But yeah, 2 minutes to go in FP1. It's gone quick, especially when you're talking about flipping Lotus, Caterham, Marussia and Virgin Racing 13 years ago. We waffle our way through. That's it. With practice, it's just a chat in it. Practice, it's not a hell of a lot of. There's not a hell of a lot to commentate on, really. But when we get to qualifying tomorrow afternoon, we change the vibe and we become some sort of Murray Walker wannabe. But yeah, it's Max Verstappen on a flying lap on the soft tyres. Can he beat the Ferraris? Is he going for it? We'll find out. He's half a second off Leclerc's pace in Sector 1. So he's not setting the world on fire, Max Verstappen in FP1 in Italy. It's a good sign for Ferrari, actually. It's a good day a good morning for Ferrari. Obviously, we'll be back in a couple of hours for FP2. But Ferrari's starting the weekend strong. 1 and 2. It's less than the gap between the Alpines. It is less. Yeah, it's 20 thousandths of a second between the Alpines. Yeah, really close. It's been like that all season, really. I mean, do you remember them battling in Saudi Arabia round 2, when the cars were like bubblegum pink? They've been fighting then all the way till now. So, Alpine have are really evenly matched, and that's what you want, really. I mean, it can cause trouble when you're fighting for the championship, but if you're a midfield outfit, 2 evenly matched drivers is exactly what you need. But it looks like it's going to be Ferrari 1-2 then, Mercedes 3-4, Verstappen on his own in P5, and then Alpine 6-7. That's what we're looking at. Now, we're on board with the Ferrari. Now, how do I tell if that's Leclerc or Sainz? Like, in a split second. Is that Leclerc with the Italian flag? Right, okay. So it's Leclerc's the crash helmet with the Italian flag down the middle. I remember that. Because that could be as, in the race, we could just randomly, bam, we're on board with a Ferrari. They both got a yellow helmet. How do you tell? But I'll remember that Leclerc's got the little Italian flag down the middle. Hopefully Sainz hasn't got that. I don't think Sainz has got that. But yeah. Didn't they have a rule where you're supposed to have your number on the top of the helmet? Have they got rid of that? Like, bring that back, please. They used to have the driver number on visible from the T-cam on top of the crash helmet. But I didn't see a number 16 on the top of that helmet. But yeah, it is Leclerc quickest in FP1. A 1 minute 22.4. Sainz on a 1 minute 22.4 as well. So evenly matched for Ferrari. Oh yeah, no, yeah, you can tell for Carlos Sainz has got the big 75 logo on the top of the helmet. So that's the way to tell it when we're on board with the Ferraris. Sainz has got the big 75 logo on top, and Leclerc's got the little Italian flag. According to Karen Shandok, Alpine's not happy with Esteban Ocon. Mention Mick Schumacher, no. No, I bet you can't. Yeah, drivers. It's not a driver's place to get involved in that, really, and start name dropping and saying, I'd really fancy him as my teammate. At the time, I thought it was a little bit weird. It is a little bit weird for Ocon to sit there in an interview and say, I'd love Mick Schumacher to be my teammate. I don't know. It still seems like a bit of a strange one. But yeah, I'm not really surprised he's in a little bit of trouble for that. Because I guess the PR way is to like stay neutral, and when they say like, who do you want to be your teammate, I suppose they're probably told to be like, I don't really mind, or like something, a neutral answer. But Ocon was like, I want Mick Schumacher. So yeah, bit of a weird one. But yeah, that is the end of FP1, guys. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do drop me a like. Obviously, it helps the channel. We're just getting going this season, trying to build a little F1 community. So please do subscribe if you are new, if you've not seen it before. We're live for every single qualifying and race, as well as, practice sessions, previews. But yeah, that's it for FP1, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, it's a weird atmosphere this weekend. It's a bit of a sad weekend, but the Formula 1 does continue. I've heard that the football's been cancelled, or the English football's been cancelled, but the Grand Prix and all the sessions to go ahead. So I will be back, in fact, at 10 to 4. Yeah, I'll be back at 10 to 4 for the... let me just check that, yeah. So it is Ferrari 1-2 in FP1, Mercedes 3-4. Good early signs for Ferrari. Can they really take the fight to Red Bull? I'll find out in between sessions as well who's got the grid penalties. I'll try and have that on screen for FP2, because it's going to be a confusing weekend and a confusing qualifying session. But thanks everyone for joining me. I'll be back in a couple of hours, 10 to 4 UK time for FP2. But yeah, peace out, guys. Please do drop me a like and subscribe if you're a Formula 1 fan. Cheers, guys. See you in a couple of hours for FP2. Peace out.